As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be.
Oh man, it's 8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a.
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only, the inevitable, Magoots. What's up, dude?
I feel like that would be like my UFC name or something. The Inevitable.
Shooter the Inevitable Magoots is actually pretty solid.
That's not bad, actually. Yeah, I mean, look, we're here. We have to talk about this stupid
We are
show.
here.
Oh, God. This is, honestly, after watching this episode, this is probably the worst place that we've ever been in, podcasting-wise, for a single TV show. OC was bad last year. This is now taking the cake.
OC was bad subjectively. We didn't like OC. A lot of people that watched last season enjoyed it and said that they enjoyed it, so that's different. This show is collectively bad.
Yep.
People on social media, before I even watched it, and that's never good. I should never look at Jersey stuff before I watch it because I already struggle through it.
Yeah.
And every post immediately after the episode was like, this is the worst Housewives episode I've ever seen. This is terrible. Please get rid of this show. And I'm like, oh, great. So I already hate this show, and I have to go into this episode.
Yeah, you texted me the same thing. You're like, yeah, apparently it's a complete shit show. Like, in a good way, and then immediately thought to myself, it's definitely not in a good way, the way that this season's been going.
No, but what we did get as a result of this, I guess Andy was on Radio Andy or something along those lines, and somebody called in and said, hey, what the fuck's going on?
Pretty much, yeah. What the fuck is going on? This sucks.
What is this? What are you subjecting us to? Because I can't take it anymore. Nobody can. And he said that we can expect a reboot with more than likely fresh faces. So it looks like they're going the route of RHONJ. We're getting a New Jersey, no pun intended.
Is that even a pun?
Yeah, it's a New Jersey. Is that a pun?
know if that's a
I don't know
pun.
if that counts as a pun. Just clever wordplay. Just a little clever wordplay for you. What? This is going to be a
How
tough
the state was made.
Yeah.
It's like defectors from England.
Yeah.
We're going to make a New Jersey.
Wait a minute. That's a great idea.
Why are they Australian?
I don't know, but let's make it New Jersey. I guess it'd be more British, huh?
Yeah, I would assume so, yeah.
Oh, pip, pip, cheerio. I've got a grand idea.
There you go.
How
That's
about
better.
we call it New Jersey? It's like Jersey, but it's new.
There you go. There you go.
Better?
Yep.
Or should I be like one of those guys?
Nope.
That's Australian again.
Yep.
What was I trying to do? I was trying to do like my cocaine.
You were trying to go Cockney, I think?
Yeah, right, my cocaine. I will call it New Jersey.
There you go.
How about that,
That's better.
Bruce?
You worked through the Bruce.
Bruce Wayne.
Springsteen? Oh.
No,
He's
it's
the king of New
Michael
Jersey.
Caine.
I thought maybe they were talking to Bruce.
Here, because we have to fill time because there's not a whole lot to talk about this episode, a little Cockney lesson for those of you out there. If you want to say Michael Caine's name in Cockney, just say my and then say cocaine. My cocaine.
There you go.
Yep, that's a Cockney lesson
Good
for
job.
you. Yeah, anyway, don't forget about the Lamborghinis. But we are here to talk about this disaster of a show, and we don't root for shows to be bad, despite what some people may think when we recap some specific franchises. When we go into every episode, we actually are looking for silver linings. Believe it or not, even with Jersey, we are looking for ways for this show to rally or to find a different direction and hopefully turn itself around. It's just simply not there. And I think that, and we'll talk about it more when we get into it, I think Dolores knows the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
I think that her entire idea for this cast trip, whether it was producers in her ear that were like, hey, let's try to do this, or if she just came up with the idea for a girls trip, like, hey, let's try to make it a peaceful retreat, to try a last-ditch effort to bring everybody together, and that's exactly what she says. And I think that Dolo's been around for long enough. I think she understands how the show works. I think she understands how Bravo works. I think she's looking around at the big picture and going, ladies, we're kind of fucked if we don't get this together, and all of you need to put your shit aside and figure out how to find some semblance of peace for us to be able to move forward and keep our jobs, because at this rate, none of us are going to come back. Nobody likes this show. Nobody likes each other. No one's going to continue to watch fabricated, made-up bullshit, everyone pointing the finger, he said, she said, bringing in outside sources to corroborate nonsense, and that's what this show's turned into. Who can come up with the most damning storyline to take somebody's family down? How can you corroborate it with idiots on the side that look like caricatures, might I add? And that's the direction that this show's gone in. And then you get all of this toxic fan base rallied behind it on social media that bullies anybody that has a differing opinion out of it. So people that try to talk about this show get bullied off of socials. People on the show that try to do anything new get hammered down by the same old bullshit. That is a recipe for disaster, and that is exactly what we've watched throughout this season. It was starting to happen last year. It's the nail in the coffin. This show fucked itself.
Yeah, for sure. It's reached a new peak of us not even really groaning while we're watching it. I don't think that my facial expression changed the entire time I was watching that episode.
Oh, no. I was more like, I never, ever look at my phone during an episode that I'm watching for anything that we do because I have to take notes. I like to be very thorough to keep us pointed. And believe it or not, you might think that the notebook's a joke or like a funny thing. I take it really seriously because it does keep us like on track. This is one of the few times I was like on my phone and I looked up. I'm like, did I miss anything? And it's all the guys. I'm like, nope, probably not.
Definitely
and just
not.
Went back to my phone. I was like, this is the dumbest shit
And that's
ever.
the funniest thing too, is obviously the way that we have to watch these shows for you and I, because we need to regurgitate information and have opinions on things. If we were just putting this in a nutshell, which we do enjoy Bravo, especially some of the shows that we don't actually cover, we can throw them on. There's certain shows that you can scroll through. You're just sitting on your phone. You're just having a little bit of downtime.
Below Deck.
Letting the stress below deck, perfect. Have it on in the background, check in every once in a while, laugh a little bit, back to the phone. The fact that we're doing this now, looking at our phones during this show, shows you that we can't even put this on as one of those shows anymore. I wouldn't even look at this and say, yeah, I'm going to throw Jersey on in the background while I'm cooking or cleaning or sitting on the couch trying to decompress. I just don't care.
No.
Like, nothing happens. And even when things do happen, I'm just not emotionally invested in any of it. So I just don't care. It just doesn't hit. Like, I don't know. And some of the women are trying, quote unquote, I guess, but it just doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Nothing that anybody does matter.
Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. In New Jersey, nothing matters.
Look,
It truly doesn't.
put it this way. We are currently recapping OC, which is having a fantastic start to their season. We're hoping it continues in that direction, but the first 2 episodes have been great.
Yep.
Thoroughly enjoyed them. And you're looking for moments, i.e. Alexis bringing this new dog in, and you're like, holy shit, that's Archie. It's just like these little moments where you're like, oh man, and it hits and it lands, and you're like, fuck yeah, that's entertaining. What
funny.
a ridiculous notion. You just
exactly.
you just adopted a dog that looks exactly like your boyfriend's ex's dog. That's crazy. Fun times. Flash over to Jersey. It's like, we're gonna watch the dudes eat steak and John Fuda have an allergic reaction. That's what
happened.
I need to remind everybody listening, and you, shooter, 10 minutes of a 40-minute episode was the men talking about nothing, having allergic reactions, and doing devotionals. That is what we watched.
Yeah, dude.
And then we watched
I think maybe the only thing that maybe got a slight eyebrow raise for me the entire episode was the devotionals. But even then, I'm not really surprised. I was more surprised that somebody like Bill was like into it. But who knows? He was probably high as balls.
He was
This
so
is kinda
stoned,
cool.
and he was like, ooh, a microphone. Jenny, put some reverb on that. Like, give me some auto-tune.
Oh, God. And Paulie's like petrified that that's ever going to get back to Dolores. Who knows what he actually said and like the whole thing. It's just so funny. Like, I don't care. It's just
I don't think
none of this matters anymore. We're not going anywhere. We're in the same place that we were when we started. And I think the best way to put this is housewife seasons are full of iconic moments.
Sure.
You ask anybody, they can pinpoint a certain season that they liked the most, and then you'll have 4 or 5 different quotes or moments that they can quote immediately.
Mm-hmm.
What's anybody going to remember about Jersey this season, or last season, or the season before?
The end of
Nothing.
it.
Nothing. Even
End of it.
you're going to remember it, but you're not going to say, "Oh yeah, that's the season where this happened." It's like, what am I going to say? That's the season where John Fuda found out that he was allergic to bone marrow.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's this season.
What are his bones full of? I don't know how that works.
That's. I don't think that's.
Does he not have bone
Oh, I
marrow?
see what you're saying.
Is he not allergic to himself? I don't get it.
I don't know. Maybe. Look.
That's the kind of conversation that we have to have.
Well,
Because nothing else is fucking going on. I need to ask you how it works for John Fuda to be allergic to bone marrow, but not his own bone marrow.
I honestly,
And we're going to get like people commenting. People are going to send us DMs and be like, this is the breakdown on it. And that means that they have so much time on their hands to cover that they don't even care about Jersey.
I want anybody to chime in. You can send us a message. You can tag us on Twitter. I don't care. If you are enjoying this
I thought
season,
you were going to say about the bone marrow.
no. I think I have.
I was going to say I'm not going to read
I have theories on the bone marrow, actually, and that's where my brain had to go. You're right,
Yep.
because we have to talk about that eventually. I have a call to our audience. If you actually enjoyed this season, and not because you're a ride or die Jersey fan, like I'm just gonna like this show no matter what. You have to have actual reasons why it's been enjoyable. And we won't come after you. I'm not going to fan you on the next episode. I just am very curious. A take from somebody that actually liked this season and thinks that it's going well. That would be really interesting to me. And
we can boo you.
No, I mean we might boo you a little bit, but not on air.
Yeah, not on air.
Not on air, and I won't say anything snarky back. I'll actually say thank you for giving us your rundown, but I'm just curious. I want to know what's entertaining about this show because I've lost all interest. And that's sad because I love Jersey. I thought this show, and I think again, it comes back to being physically close to the state of New Jersey for the majority of my life. It's more relatable. So I wanted to see it. And this is what it's come to. We'll be all in on the reboot. We were all in on the RHONJ reboot. We wanted to give it the best chance that it had. We were in on that when people were still trying to talk shit because it's not the OGs. That's what's going to be the hardest part. If they do reboot this all the way, is getting through that bullshit again.
Yeah, but
it's not Teresa. It's not Marge. We know.
And it doesn't really matter, though, because I would even ask the people that are going to be commenting on this, what point do you have to make about why the person that you're cheering for is having a good season anyway?
That's a good one.
Teresa's a shell of herself. Like, I know if you're a huge Tree fan, you can't enjoy watching her like this.
No.
She's not fun. She looks like she's on the verge of a mental breakdown.
Yep.
Why is that enjoyable? It's not. Like, you can back her all you want and say Marge is a terrible person, but what are you really going to do? You can't do anything about it because Teresa doesn't know you in the first place, but she's also just not enjoyable and clearly not herself anymore. Marge is, when she's on screen, she's just vindictive, but she doesn't really do anything. She still tries to have that moment with the flowers, but even Marge, like, the Marge of old was snarky and had good comebacks and she was fucking insane, but she's not doing any of that this year. If you're a Melissa fan, she's not even on the screen anymore. So, like, what are you cheering for anymore? What's the point in watching this if the person that you're standing that you need to go on Twitter and fight for isn't doing anything in the show anymore? They're not even themselves. So it's just not enjoyable for anybody, I would imagine.
And that's also why we didn't dive deep into like the John Fuda allegations that came out in the paper from like 20 fucking years ago, because simply, who cares? And somebody's like, you missed the point. It's because he lied about it. Oh, okay.
Oh, sick.
Who cares?
Did that have ramifications in the show? Nope.
No, not at all.
These people aren't going to talk to each other anyway.
That's my whole point. And that's Shooter's point, and that's what we're trying to say. And no, we're not bashing you if you're a Jersey fan, but it is genuine curiosity. Like, that's a great way to put it.
You know what? If you're a Jersey fan, go catch up on Miami, and then, you know, when the new season comes out, we'll talk about it.
Do that. Because Miami's phenomenal, and I can't wait for Miami to come back. And to answer your question, though, this season will be remembered for the wreath that Marge sent. That was funny. That was
funny.
The only good moment in this season, honestly. And that was a baller move. So without further ado, don't worry. Just because I looked at my phone during the dude scenes, I did write everything down as normal. We do have things to talk about. We will break it down like we always do. We take our job seriously. Some people on that show might not, but we do, goddammit.
We do.
We're journalists at the end of the day.
We really are. We have credibility.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay,
totally,
cool.
dude.
Yeah, totally, dude. That's always a good response.
Yep.
We have credibility? Totally,
dude.
Okay, anywho. We start out with boners. That's at Danielle's house. But moving on quickly from there, we get to the Fudas. We get a check-in. I'll always shout out nice moments. Juliana got her tongue tie procedure done, and she is progressing very well. It's nice to see. Good for the Fudas.
Great.
All happy. It is
happy.
Look,
Yeah, no, happy.
Moments,
It's just, yeah.
But not a whole lot to talk about there. So let's get to Jan Aiden. And she's recapping the pajama party and the milking of the prostate. I do believe she doesn't know what that means.
Still does think cranking it.
That's
what she means.
She's talking about a good old fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I don't think we need to break it down.
Nope.
Hopefully most people know what it is. Google it.
Google it if you don't. Yeah.
Keep your safe search.
I'm sure Twitter will probably work with that one.
Yeah, there you go. Go on Twitter and just search. Oh, no,
Fuck
don't
up
do
your
that.
entire algorithm.
Yeah. You know what? Don't search it. You don't have to search it. Just make up your own definition of what you think it means if you don't know what it means. But we get the layout for what's going on later, and it's like the group text to the dudes, and you got 2 different dude parties going on. It's interesting that Jen decides to call Nate a bitch boy, and as we know, that was what Joe Gorga was labeled years ago, was the bitch boy, so bitch boy's coming back. But she's talking about the retreat and saying, if Danielle comes up to me first and is the bigger person finally, then I'll be able to move on from it. Taking zero accountability in what happened, which is really frustrating. It's what we've seen all season. And I guess because we're going to have to work our way through this a little bit, my question to you is, had they gone on this retreat, which it doesn't seem like they're going to because the house, quote unquote, burned down, which didn't actually happen. The garage on the property burned down. But regardless, do you think there would have been any semblance of those 2 being able to reconnect? Would that have been a moment where Jen is able to turn on Teresa? Like, what's going to happen between her and Danielle? And hold on, before we do that, that's the other hard part about talking about this. 1, we know they're rebooting, and 2, we know there's no reunion. So again, we talked about this last week. It takes the caring out of it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Jen Aiden came out in the press this week and even said that it was pleasant sitting there and watching. Or I don't know if they've done it yet. I guess they did it already.
I would imagine it's done,
I'm trying to remember what the vernacular was that she used, because I guess they already watched it and they did it like a screener up front. So she responded by saying it was pleasant watching the finale like that. Pleasant for fucking who?
For the people
For them,
involved, I
like, you
suppose.
usually are at each other's necks and you've got these binders and everything. It was just nice to just show up at a restaurant and have some food and watch. Sure, okay, great. Get off the screen. I don't care anymore. But yeah, I guess hypothetically speaking, if they went on this retreat, sure, I could see Danielle and Jen getting back together, because we have at least seen Jen open to hearing other people talk. So maybe Danielle would come in and just say, hey, let's not talk about it anymore. And Jen would say, okay, sounds good. Make a weird joke and then move on.
Yeah.
Do I care? No. It just doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but we move on to Fessler and Dolo, and this is what I was talking about before we started the episode. I think it's really funny. Did you notice what she was saved in the phone as?
What?
Jen, Siggy's friend. Not Jen Fessler. Jen, Siggy friend is what she was named in the phone, but this whole retreat is a Hail Mary from Dolores, and maybe from production. I'm not sure who was involved.
Well, they needed a vacation or some sort of trip in the show anyway, so I guess this worked.
We needed a trip, so this is the trip. And the way that she's talking, to me, she sees the writing on the wall, genuinely. She's like, if this does not work, I don't know where we go from here. Yep. And she says this is a last-ditch effort. And she also pretty much says, like, it's not going to work. Like, I've got activities planned throughout the entire day just to keep people busy to avoid any kind of altercation that's going to transpire. None of this is going to work. This is a disaster waiting to happen. But here's my last hope for this group to be able to come together and have a Goombaya moment.
A little Goombaya.
Which was funny.
Yeah, that is funny. And I like that Fessler's response was, these Italians, gotta just let them say whatever the hell they want. She just kept saying Goombaya. I just kept thinking about the Goombas from Mario.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, which one? The live action one with John Leguizamo?
Yes, actually. The 1994, yeah.
The tiny heads?
That's the one that I always think of, by the way.
Okay.
I don't think about the new one with Chris Pratt. I don't think about the video games. I think about the movie from 1994.
And what's the guy's name? Oh, damn it. I just had it. It doesn't matter. But, fuck. I forget his name, but apparently Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins, yeah.
Yeah, Bob Hoskins. Wow. Bob Hoskins, who apparently was so drunk the entire filming of that movie. It was a disaster trying to get him on set. That's what you're going to get this episode. Tidbits about bad movies from the 90s.
God, that's a great movie, though.
It's a really good bad movie if you haven't seen it. But anyway, we move on to Fessler and Marge, and we get more on Joe, and everything coming back is like right down the middle, which is kind of scary. I guess in the one scan, you're either a 0 or a 1, and that's don't worry about it, or you're a 4 or a 5, and that's oh shit. Prostate cancer, and he's a 3. So they're a big question mark. He needs an MRI. Hopefully he gets it soon. We haven't heard in real time whether or not he's cancer-free.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from socials or really anything else, so probably playing it a little close to the chest. Maybe still just getting some tests done and figuring it out. So we'll hold out some hope for that one.
Yep, T's and P's for Joe B.
T's and P's for Joey B. But yeah, it's interesting to see this side of Marge, I guess,
The sentimental
going
side.
through this. Like, you can tell she's going through it. There's a lot of stuff that she has to process. And again, her ex just passed away a little while ago. So she's having a tough time. And Joe's keeping good faith, which is good to see. He's
feel
been
like
pretty consistent for the
Joe
last couple episodes.
catches a lot of shit from fans of this show, and I've never really understood it. Like, he's the most
It's
normal
just because
to
he's
me.
like basically Marge's like little
Bitch boy.
bitch boy.
That's what
Yeah,
I say.
I guess. Yeah.
But as far as like, just being a normal-ish dude, like he doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah,
He
he's
seems
definitely
like
a
a
normal-ish
very
dude.
normal guy.
Yeah.
So I've never
Well,
understood.
I had a funny thought during this, and I'm just going to jump a little bit to when they're talking about everybody showing up at Joe's for the party, at Joe Gorga's for the party. They mentioned very quickly that Evan wasn't going to be there because his kids had some games going on, and I'm like, that's like every dad in the world.
Mhm.
And I never realized that they just don't do this on these shows.
Oh, it's
Like, when is it ever, oh yeah, Joe Gorga can't come tonight because Antonia has a game tonight or has some sort of competition tonight and he's not going to be able to make it. Like, do they not go to their kids' things
That's a good
because they're
point.
filming for the show?
That's a good point, but they're contractually obligated to a certain extent, I would
Yeah,
imagine, like
sure.
being full-time, especially, and also, let's not get it twisted. Joe Gorga wants to be on camera. The other dudes want to be on camera. Fuda wants the
Wasn't
fucking
Gorga
spotlight.
getting in fights and stuff for his son's like wrestling tournament too?
Did, dude. He hollered at the ref.
Maybe he's
and
not allowed to
jumped
go to
out
those
of the
things
stands. He's
anymore.
probably banned. Yeah, he's not allowed to
The
go.
high school banned him.
Yeah, you can't come to any more matches, Mr. Gorga. It's getting embarrassing.
Yes.
But I think that's probably what it is. And look, we haven't seen Nate all season. He doesn't want to be on, or sorry, Evan. He doesn't want to be on the show.
Barely seen Nate for that matter.
We've barely seen Jackie for that
And this
matter.
is, you know what? Well, Jackie's not a full time, so I don't give a shit, and she sucks. But the husbands shouldn't be on this show to begin with. Like, enough. Go to your kids' events so that your wives can go film. This is their job, not yours.
We used to like those scenes because the show was centered
Yeah.
around the
It
housewives.
was cute for a season or two.
Yeah, and then
it's like whatever.
now we're getting
Now it's too much.
10-minute segments of only husbands. Only husbands should not be a thing. Okay? I said it
Yeah.
intentionally.
Okay.
Is-
That doesn't seem like it should be a thing. That's
No,
for
that's
sure.
my
Yeah,
point.
I don't want that to be a
That
thing.
is, you see what I did?
Yep.
Only husbands should not be a thing. Take that however you'd like.
I'm not going deeper on that one.
You don't need to. I think
want
everyone
to.
gets it.
Real bad. No, I don't think you understand where I was going.
Oh,
Because like if
think
it's
one of the husbands has an OnlyFans?
no, so it's only fans. So only husbands would be just husbands being on there looking at things.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. See,
That's
yeah,
not
that's
where I went. I
yeah.
was saying that the models
It would
were
be the
only
models would be
husbands.
husbands. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. But the models are not only fans. The
They're-
fans represent the people that are on there paying. So it'd be only husbands on there paying. So yeah, and it's just
Ew.
they didn't want to do it.
You did it though.
You asked me.
I didn't really. I just
All right,
kinda,
maybe I jumped the gun a little bit.
You jumped the gun a
What do you want me to do?
Okay. Let's get back on track here. We're with Fessler and Marge and the Joe B talk about the biopsy and all that, but Fessler is relaying to Marge what this setup is going to be at Teresa's later, and she says, I got to
Such a
call.
snitch move by Fessler.
Fessler's been a snitch all season.
Yeah, but like the season started and it ended last year with her believing everything that people told her.
Yes.
Now she's just snitching.
She's a snitch.
You know what you need to do, Fessler. You tell Marge after the fact. You go see the information for yourself, see what happens, and then if you deem it to be ridiculous and funny and terrible, then you go back to Marge and say, this is what happened.
That would be the
You don't
correct.
sit down because you know what Marge is going to do. She's going to try to bully everybody into not going.
I don't think she did know that.
Yeah.
I think that Fessler
Well,
doesn't
he's figured it
know
out.
that stuff because that was the funniest part of the conversation. She lists who's invited to this event, and Marge, understandably so, and no, we're not Marge stands here by any means. She's an evil, evil person. But anybody in her shoes would get upset at anybody that she is friends with going to this. It's more or less a roast with
Yeah.
an attorney.
Also, are we calling Danielle bougie now? That's her nickname?
I thought that was a dig.
I thought it was a dig, but then I didn't. And if it's not, that's kind of embarrassing.
I
Pretty embarrassing nickname.
mean, I don't know.
That's tough.
It's I guess if that's what you want to focus on right now,
Dude, yeah.
dude.
Yes.
Totally, dude.
More than anything. More than this TV show. I want to focus on embarrassing things.
Okay. Yes, maybe that's her
Okay.
nickname. Or maybe that's just how people say it, but they don't say it to her face, kind of deal. That's what I would imagine. It's got like a slight,
That's rough.
slight condescending.
No matter how you look at it, it's rough.
Yeah, I agree with you. But the best part of this whole thing, she calls Dolores and she's like, this is so ridiculous. I can't believe anybody would show up, blah, blah, blah. She calls Danielle, says the same thing. And she's like, well, I can't let my omelet get cold. Like, I got to go. Only now does Fessler go, it didn't sound as bad when she brought it up. The more you're talking about it, this is a pretty bad look. Don't worry, Marge. I'm going to take care of this whole thing. I'm going to text her right now and bow out. When this was presented to you, Fessler, at no point were you like, oh, this is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
You're going to sit down with an attorney who's going to give us inside information, quote unquote. He doesn't, by the way. Inside information about this case that's going to damnify Marge, my close friend. I'm going to go to this willingly at Teresa's house, your sworn enemy. Now that I say it out loud, I get why you're kind of upset.
Yeah, you just don't say anything up front. Just say, I wanted to go see what it was all about so I could report back.
That's it. That's all you have to say.
As a good friend.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't know. And also, Fessler is just really fallen apart for me. She was fun last year. She's so wishy-washy now. Like last week, she sat down with Dolores, and Dolores got her to text Rachel and say that she was going to go to her sleepover within like 30 seconds.
I don't
Like,
mind that.
Like a stand pat. Well, yeah, to an extent, sure. But like, make a decision for yourself.
I think where she, not bothers me, but where she's fallen off for me is it appears to me like the things that she's doing, the way she's moving, is she's trying to figure out how to be a housewife or how she wants to be a housewife, and she's doing 5 different avenues, and none of them are working.
She's just trying to be everybody's friend. I think she's
yeah,
getting rattled by people reacting to things that she's doing by hanging out with other people. And she's like, how do I navigate this? I just have to be nice to everybody and just bow my head.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it. But
boring.
Yeah. We move on to Dude's Night and Lude's Night.
Talk about boring.
This is the worst. This was the worst moment in Housewives history. We got the dudes are the Gorga crew and the Ludes are Louie and his crew. And for no other reason than Lou is easy to fit into dude. So you got the Ludes and the dudes.
Yep.
All right, we good? Everyone know where we're at right now?
Great.
Because the dudes are Joe Gorga, Joey B, Fuda, and Fessler and Frank. And Fuda thought he had a moment by strolling up in pajamas and goes, I'm doing this so you can feel safe. You get it? We all get it. It's not that funny. It doesn't really land. You're just wearing PJs now. Ha ha, call back to Louie being crazy and wearing PJs last year. Yes, that was insane. This isn't like a fuck you moment the way you thought it was by any means.
Not when a husband does it.
Exactly. It's not.
It's just
funny.
like the husbands are trying to do these iconic moments that you would call back to and say, wow, that was really funny that she did that in season 6.
It would be funny.
No one's going to remember that the husband did it. Nobody cares.
It would be funny if they were all going to a party together.
Yeah.
And
Louie was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he walks in with Rachel wearing pajamas, but doesn't say anything about it. Just wear them.
These guys aren't funny. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're probably right.
There's no comedy involved in any
You're right.
of this.
But on the lewd side, they're setting up for the evening, and I just got to point it out because we haven't gotten a lot of them on our screen this year. He being Louie, is so goddamn performative.
Yeah.
If you watch these scenes where he's talking to the caterers or the people in the room, and you actually buy that he's that emphatic about everything. Oh my God. Oh, look who's in here. Oh, it's Gia. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, I love everybody so much, babe. You look great. The food looks awesome. This is such a great job. Like everything he does is the absolute most. And if you need a comparable, a comp.
Yep.
If you need a comp, this show's rotted my brain. If you need a comp, look at Ryan on the OC. The OC. On Rosie.
Yep.
Look at Ryan on Rosie. He does the same exact thing every time he's on the screen. Everything is happy, and he says the right thing, and he's trying to paint a picture that he's this great stand-up guy. I don't know who's falling for it, and if you've listened to our episodes this season, we do not have a favorite on this show. We don't really like anybody. So we're not trying to just go after Teresa.
They all suck.
They all suck. But if you cannot see through this guy, I can't help you. And people that defend him, I don't fucking understand it. Like, just watching him in that kitchen in that moment, I'm like, this guy's fake as shit.
He's fake as shit, but he's also so unhinged.
He seems like he's on
Things that he's
the
talking about are just like they're so out there. I guarantee you, one, he's a very serious conspiracy theorist.
And a very avid Joe Rogan listener.
Oh, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's some
Oh,
great
yeah.
Rogan episodes out there. I've listened to plenty. I don't listen religiously by any means. And
No.
there's also some crazy ones that I'm like, that's just ridiculous. He takes them all at gospel.
Yeah.
And they go on
He has his own notebook that he writes down about it.
about Rogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but doesn't talk to anybody.
No,
about
no,
it.
no.
He's just,
Although he's got a fucking podcast studio. Is that where Teresa does her podcast, I guess?
I don't know, but that was bizarre.
Creepy.
That was wild. Was that
Real
not
creepy.
crazy?
Huh? What does he do down there?
I don't know. I thought the same thing. What the fuck is this room? Because I didn't realize there was a podcast dude in the beginning. He goes, "This is the man cave. This is the cave for men."
Like, what does he do? I don't know, and I don't care enough. But him and his son both had a shirt on that matched.
Oh, they did? I
Yeah.
don't like that either.
No, but it was like sort of how Teresa's always wearing the Namaste
The
bitches
Namaste
shirts.
bitches.
It looked like it could have potentially been a podcast. Maybe it's him and his son talking about shit. I truly don't care enough to go look it up.
Wait,
Like,
they're
even
both.
in this
He's
moment-
Louie Jr., right?
Yep.
The podcast has to be called like "It Takes Two, Lou."
Skip to my Lou.
Skip to my Lou. What else could it be? Louie squared.
Oh,
What?
if Teresa gets involved, Treludes.
Treludes is not bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. What else? There's got to be one more good one. There's got to be a
definitely
low
one
hanging
out there.
fruit somewhere. And then you got a theme song too, Louie.
Yeah.
Louie. You're welcome, Louie. If that's your fucking theme song and that's the
Go for it.
podcast, we know where you got it from. All right, so you can take that one. You're welcome, pal. Copyright free. Anyway, Teresa walks in and Louie's dad is there, and she starts laying out what's gonna happen with fucking my cousin Vinny later. And she's like, "Look, I'm just laying out all the facts, and the court ruled in Louie's favor, and this woman that I thought I was friends with
When?
in regards to Marge, I don't fucking know. What, 10 years ago?
Yeah, maybe. Did you even know who Louie was 10 years ago? No.
But that's my whole point to anybody that
Not relevant.
rides and dies for any individual on this show. And you point to a moment where it's like she's lying right now on TV. There's no other way to look at it. This is a lie, and they still defend them. I don't get it. I don't understand how you can have the wool pulled over your eyes like that. She just said to Louie's dad, this person I thought I was a friend with. No, you don't. You have actively been trying to ruin her life and her yours for the past at least 3-4 years. So that's simply not true. So it hurts my brain when I then have to think about the fan base around this and be like, how the fuck is that defensible? Because it's simply not. It's not.
It's not.
'Tis not. But we get back to the dudes, which is the Gorga crew, and Marge calls Joe B and explains what's going on with Teresa, which is the worst because of this. And this is when it all landed how shitty this setup was for this episode. This is a moment that we normally get with housewives, where the husband calls or a friend calls and you watch the reactions of the housewives in the room and then they discuss it after the fact. That is a classic housewives setup. Phone call, let's discuss. We are now doing that with the housewife calling the husbands and the husbands dissecting what went down. That is awful.
Yep.
What happened in the production meeting where they're like, this is good. Let's do this. This seems like a great idea. Everybody's going to love husbands, but we're going to make them the housewives for an episode.
It has
Oh,
nothing to do with them.
wait a minute.
What?
I think I just had an epiphany.
Okay.
It's not a good one, so settle down. But
I didn't sound that excited.
that was the joke.
Yep.
Is
it good?
I think it might have some merit. So I
Starting
think
to sound a little worse.
it's not good, but I
Okay, all
think
right.
that it has some merit. Yeah, relax. That's why I say relax. Maybe they understand where this show's going, the direction it's headed in, so they're trying Hail Marys left and right. The retreat with all the women, and maybe they said the house burned down when the garage actually burned down. It's like, this isn't going to work. They're going to kill each other. So maybe in these last couple episodes, they're like, what if They want to see more of the husbands. What if this does weirdly work? Let's put them on because we don't have anything to talk about with the women because they're not talking to each other. So let's make a husbands episode and see what the reaction is and gauge that because maybe that's something that we can use next season with this same cast to see how it goes. Thoughts?
Could be their choice. I don't know.
No, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them throwing Hail Marys, sure. I have no fucking idea. I just don't think that this has anything to do with them and the fact that Marge is calling Joe to dissect why Teresa wants to hang out with their wives, but then you look around the room and none of the wives are going.
Mm-mm.
So it doesn't impact them at all. It only impacts Marge.
Mm-hmm.
So why do they care? It's just a moment for them to talk shit on Teresa and for Joey to start talking about his family again. It's like, I just don't, it doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't. And it just sets up, again, we have Joe talking about the same thing we've heard about. This guy comes into my family. He comes into my family, he ruins my family. And I'm like, what the fuck? Fuck this guy. You ruined my family. And I'm all about family because I love Fast and the Furious. And Vin Diesel is my spirit animal.
Yeah, not a Corona in sight.
Yeah, you need to at least have a Corona.
Lean into it.
Yeah, that would actually be kind of fun. I would respect if he just leaned full on.
He wore beaters and only had Corona.
And just was full of Vin Diesel
Yeah.
and shaved his head entirely. Like,
He's basically.
no, I know, but like the Vin Diesel clean, shiny head.
He doesn't really have much of a choice, but yeah.
No, but he's not full on Diesel.
Okay.
I need him to be full on
Diesel.
Dominic Toretto Gorga.
Okay.
That would be more fun.
His son's name's Dominic.
Ooh. Heyo.
We got Dom Jr.
Dom
Jr.?
Dom Jr. And then Dom Jr. pulls up in a black Charger with the engine sticking out the front all crazy and says, Dad, this is for the family.
Yep.
And then he does something wacky.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good movie.
We're going with this.
That's what this show's
Where we
turned
are.
into. Are you guys enjoying this recap? Because I am. But Paulie, I got to call out because I look at these sweaters often. Often. And I always think, man, I could pull that off. But without fail, they always look like foreskin. And it's the sweater. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And it always looks like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's always like, that's kind of classy. It's casual. It's kind of cool. I think the only person I've seen pull it off is one of the Hemsworths.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
If somebody's going to be able to do it, one of those guys. I think it was even Chris Hemsworth. So if Thor can do it, most of us cannot. So it's a foreskin sweater is what it is, more or less. So I just needed to call that one out and see if you shared the same sentiment.
I don't even look at Paulie style.
It's just it was only the sweater.
This is just where we're going with this.
It was only the sweater, yeah.
I know. It's the sweater. You got to point out the sweater. I'm not going to lie. I could not tell you one thing that Paulie has worn.
He wears a lot of black T-shirts.
Yeah, so that's probably
He's a big-time black T-shirt
jersey.
guy.
It's a jersey thing.
It's a jersey thing. But he wore that, and I just needed to call that out. It always seems like a good idea. I've looked at those many times. I've never pulled the trigger, and I'm glad I didn't. But we get back to the lewds. And this is immediately following the Bill's in a cult comment, which is funny because flash over to the lewds, and this is my man cave. And it's a sound booth. And the first thought I had when he said this in my man cave, I'm like, what the fuck is this room? Because
where are the TVs?
It's sound padded on the
Where's
walls.
the bar and the pool?
What do you mean it's a man cave? This is a
a
recording
billiards
studio.
table and a dartboard.
That's a man cave.
That's a man cave.
This is a recording studio.
Yeah.
That I'm not sure if Teresa
And
uses
that
it.
St. Paulie girl sign that everybody has.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Right. Yes, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah. That's in every man cave in the United States. It's actually, you're not allowed to call it a man cave
without that.
Without the St. Paulie girl.
And one
neon
LED sign.
One LED
you
sign.
Get to have a little creative freedom on that, though. You can choose whatever beer you want.
It's either beer or sports team.
Yeah.
Or you do full circle and you get like the Miller Lite from Philly. So it's like the Eagles logo with the Miller Lite under it. Something like that. Wow, we really are digging deep.
Yeah, we're trying.
We're trying our hardest. But during this whole scene, I literally wrote down, what the fuck? Because he's like, here's what we're going to do, guys, because our ladies are going on a trip, so we're going to do something really nice for them. And I came up with this great idea. It's off the cuff. I just came up with it today. I didn't plan this for weeks and weeks and weeks. I didn't
have this podcast studio built for this.
I didn't have this built yesterday, so we could do this. But we're going to do devotionals to our wives and let them know how much we love them. Because this is something I do all the time, because this is a normal thing for me to do. And I'm not a psycho, and I'm totally normal. So,
Don't worry, guys. While the contractors were in here building the entire thing, I made sure that they had water and that I just kept asking them if they needed any help.
Yeah, the
I
whole
helped.
time. The whole time.
I helped the entire time. Actually, I built this.
You know what? I fired them because I felt bad for them. I still paid them, and I built it myself blindfolded. Yeah. Using only materials that I farmed from the backyard.
Yep.
Anyway, they do this devotional thing, and he's like, I didn't even rehearse that. And the shit he says, it's like, yeah, okay, look, is it a nice thing to say to your wife to send them with a devotional video? Sure.
When the fuck were they going to listen to it?
When they're on the trip.
When? They're going to be at each other's necks the entire time. You think they're just going to stow away and listen to their husband say how much they love them?
Maybe they would put it on the
I need
screen.
to
I
feel
don't
better.
know. I don't
I need
know.
to hear your voice, Lou. Listen to the message.
Listen.
Don't listen to me right now. I can't talk to you. Listen to the message.
I left you a message. No, I don't know. I don't think that matters either. That was what that was all for. And it gets to Bill, who, this was bizarre. He starts like, you could say singing. He's like, oh, my Jenny. And I'm like, I've never heard Bill talk like this or sound like this. So he's probably, like you said, he probably hit the pool house before this.
Yeah.
He's a little lit. And he's like, oh, my Jenny. We don't hug anymore. It was almost like watching somebody take an edible for the first time and just like, they have no inner monologue.
Yeah.
They're like, remember hugs? We used to hug. What
used to
happened to
hug.
hugging?
What happened to greeting people with hugs?
Yeah. You guys where did hugs get invented? That's what Bill
Who
was
wanted to
going.
wrap their arms around each other? What does that mean?
I wrote down again, what the fuck? I wrote it down twice in 2 lines because I didn't know what was going on. And then we get over to Paulie's and it's like, pulling teeth. The guy's got the most stoic face ever, going like, thank you so much for what you do for me. I'm so happy that I have you in my life. I can't imagine myself without you. What, you've never talked like this before. Again, sure, it's sweet, but
It's mostly, I feel like it's uncomfortable.
it is uncomfortable to
Like,
watch.
Louie is not going to let me leave this room unless I do something.
Yeah, because then
And I hope
Louis
this never goes anywhere.
lets slip, by the way, I also built a dungeon behind this, so you better follow suit, or you got to join the guys that built this place, because I want them to get out.
Yep.
They're back there right now. But flash to poker night, and this is the allergic reaction. We don't have to talk about it, really, except for the fact that apparently, if you're Italian, you're too tough for anaphylactic shock.
Apparently.
That's what he said. And I'm like, dude, thank God for Joe Benigno.
Who I also thought was kind of annoying.
Was it over the
It's a
top?
little too
Sure.
much.
Sure. But that's a reasonable reaction. If you think somebody's actually going into anaphylactic shock and they think that ice is the correct maneuver, like, oh, we'll just put some ice on it. I'll stare into the mirror, splash some water on my face. Give me some Vicks.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, the nightmare blunt rotation.
Yeah.
This is absolutely nightmare, like medical emergency situation.
Oh, totally.
You do not want to be around these idiots.
They got some steak out of it.
The EMS guys got some steak out of it, yeah.
That's what I mean.
I meant you don't want to be around like Joe Gorga and
Oh, no.
Frank and yeah,
No,
they
'cause
don't
they're
know what the hell they're doing.
Put ice on it. Just
Yeah.
ice it, dude. You'll be fine.
I'm Italian. I don't go to the hospital.
That was what came out of that. And I'm like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing at all.
Did you not read my shirt that says Italian?
Yeah. If you were curious, I am in fact Italian, but that's not a thing.
Nope.
That's like that tweet from back in the day from Riggs where it was like somebody made fun of him for putting on sunscreen. He's like, what are you, tougher than the fucking sun? It's like, what are you, tougher than allergies? You're having an allergic reaction.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't make you a bitch. It doesn't make you soft. You're potentially going to die. Just get a fucking EpiPen. That's all they're going to, if it is anaphylactic shock, they're going to stick you in the leg with an EpiPen. You're going to bounce back in a little while. Why would you try to be so tough that you die?
You don't want to ruin the night.
Is that what it
I
was?
came over here in my pajamas. I'm going to have a good time. I'm going to talk some shit with the boys. I'm not a bitch.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, what's going on? My throat's closed, but I'm fine. I'm totally
I
fine.
can't breathe.
I can't breathe at all. I'm not.
Who needs to breathe?
He says Italians are used to low oxygen.
Yep.
What?
That doesn't make any sense either.
I'm married
some
to an
olive oil.
Italian. She needs oxygen.
Give me some olive oil. I'll be all right.
Yeah, what the fuck? It was just such a weird scene. And also the cherry on top of all of this nonsense that's occurring is that we're watching it.
Yep.
Why the fuck am I watching this? Why are you putting me through this right now? This season's been tough enough. I have to sit here and now discuss with my co-host what the fuck he could be allergic to. Is it the bone marrow? Could it have been something they made the bone marrow with?
Was it
Because
the alcohol?
was it a seasoning? Maybe it's the alcohol, but maybe, just maybe, nobody fucking cares, and this was a bad direction to take the show in. Maybe it's that. maybe we should look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck? What have we done to this show?
You're right.
No, it's
Getting a little heated.
I'm just sad. Honestly. It's sad. Like, this is crazy to me that this went through an editing room, went through testing, and they're like, yup, let's send this out there.
What else do we have? Nothing?
And fucking bang it. Stop putting episodes out. If this is the product you're going to put out, people aren't going to watch the reboot because, like, if it's anything like this, are we going to watch people eat bone marrow shots?
Let's send Jermaine out there. He'll get it.
Oh, God. Keep Jermaine away from everything. Jermaine's going to ruin the reboot. But the next day, we get Paulie and Dolo, and she's saying that the house burned down. They're going to stay in again. It came out the house didn't burn down. A garage on the property burnt down, or a garage near the property burnt down. That's what actually happened. But everyone takes it for what it is. They're like, it's a sign. It's divine intervention. Of course the house burned down because it couldn't take us all being in there. But we get to Teresa's. And we're met by James Leonard, who I retract everything I said last week other than I'm not trusting an attorney in a fitted hat. Yeah. This is why. Yeah. This is why I said that. I tried to be nice and be like, oh, he's still an attorney and they have a lot of money, so he probably knows what he's doing. This guy's not a real attorney. Nope. This guy's an idiot. And also, Marge had a great point earlier where she's like, what attorney would be a party to this?
Well, Teresa probably paid him.
She definitely paid him, but even so, this is a terrible look.
But it's just, he starts it off by saying that he's been around Teresa's family and got her through so many different things. He's still just milking money out of her.
That's all he's doing.
That's all he's doing. That's all he really cares about. He doesn't give a shit about any of this. I'm going to get my face on there. Maybe some people create a little buzz around the firm that if you ask Marge, it's next to a meth clinic. So that's going to go over pretty well. Maybe you need a new office. Who knows? I'm going to show up on this show and maybe it'll work out a little bit more. To any normal person, no, it's not going to work because you are just sitting there slandering somebody with zero proof.
You have no proof other than proof. Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
That's your proof.
Proof? I was there.
I was there. I read the case files. Show them the case files.
If where are the case files? If it's closed, we can see it. It's public record.
Boom. So again, this is more hearsay, more he said, she said, and he has the balls to say, I was with them 9 years ago, when she went to jail because I am not very good at my job, and she did get convicted.
The clip is insane.
The clip is wild.
So mom's not going to be able to call today. Apparently the power went out at the jail.
In prison.
What does that have to do with Jim Leonard? Anything?
That's just the only clip they could show, other than the fact that you were...
it was Jim called and let us know the power went out at the prison, so she's not going to be able to call today.
Yeah, no, but it was Jim.
That was it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's all he's done.
Yeah. No, I think he represented her. And
show that clip.
That's the other thing, though. If you represented her, she got convicted. Yep. So maybe not
got her a later sentence? Probably not. He probably actually got her a worse.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. Like at this point, I'm just assuming that he fumbled the bag somehow. Yep. But regardless, we're probably gonna get shit for that. But whatever.
Who cares?
I don't.
It'll be more entertaining.
I genuinely don't care, and that's the thing. You know, all the girls arrive, and I genuinely forgot that Jackie was on the show. She walks up, I was like, oh yeah, she's part of this, and she's chiming in.
She happy to be invited,
dude. She's chiming in like she's been part of this team for a very long time. She's like, I just want Teresa to have closure. It's like you just became friends with her, and it came out in an article that you both decided to become friends because you thought it was mutually beneficial, and then it grew into something else. Mm-hmm. That was an actual quote from Jackie Goldschneider. So it's like, look, dude, you're new here. You're trying to be on the show. You're trying to do whatever you can. Guess what? None of you are coming back, apparently. And it's so fake. You're sitting there like, Teresa needs closure. What does Teresa divulge that you know about to know that she needs closure?
Nothing
at all.
You can just tell she's stressed out. Maybe, just throwing this out there, it's her crazy fucking husband that's stressing her out.
Could be.
With all of his shit going on. Because Teresa's not going through anything personally other than hating Marge. Otherwise, it all comes back to Louie.
Don't say that.
Oh, God forbid.
God forbid you point to the red flag. The
literal... Let's rip the Band-Aid off. I don't give a shit anymore. Louie sucks. He's a terrible fucking person. He's definitely doing a bunch of shit. He's definitely doing a lot of crazy shit. And he is not a mentally sane person.
It doesn't appear to be.
Any normal person with eyes, get your head out of Teresa's ass and take a look at her husband and say, hey, This dude's nuts.
Yeah.
What's up with this guy? He's not making Teresa happy because Teresa's not happy. She's stressed out. So get off of that and move on. Maybe go attack him so that they'll get divorced and move on and she'll be happy.
That's the thing.
That's what you should be doing if you want to tree stand.
If you want a tree stand, we said that last year when things were getting weird with him. We're like, if you're really a fan of hers, do you really want this to be the dynamic? Because it appears to be very toxic.
Yeah.
We can't say that apparently.
Nope.
Because that just means we hate
Teresa.
Teresa.
Show's getting canceled.
Yeah, it's all
Get it all
canceled.
out.
Just cancel it. But apparently Marge was subpoenaed to ask whether or not she's been talking to Louie's exes, and Marge said she wasn't going to show up. And I'm under the impression, and I am not a lawyer, nor am I in law enforcement in any way, shape, or form. I was fairly certain that if you get subpoenaed, you must appear in court, or else you're held in contempt.
Yeah.
You deny
I think there's
subpoenas?
2 different types. I'm sure subpoena probably wasn't even the right word for them to use in this moment.
He's a lawyer. What do you mean?
She was probably requested to come to court to testify, and she could deny it, so she didn't go.
Yeah, because I thought subpoenas like you get served.
Yeah.
You get served a subpoena, and it's like you must appear.
Yeah.
You're in arrears.
And it's not like she's living this low-profile life where they can't find her to serve her.
No,
So
she's
she
right.
definitely got served if that's the case,
Right,
and didn't go,
right.
so she would be in trouble.
That's what I
She's
thought.
not.
She's not in trouble.
So she
just
wasn't
said,
subpoenaed.
I'm not coming. They
It's
said,
fucking nuts.
damn, she foiled us again.
God, she said no.
What do we
Next
do
time.
now? We call
Next
James
time she orders, next time she orders pizza, we'll put it under the pizza.
What is going
I
on?
don't know.
Ugh. But we get built up to this alleged payoff that we're about to get. And she's like, this will make your head spin. Is everybody ready? Go to a commercial break, by the way, so we can build the tension during the commercials and
Yeah,
come
get some water so you can spit it out when I.
come back to this. And she says Marge has been getting all of her info from Louie's ex. Ooh, mic drop. Yeah, duh. What do you mean?
And Dolores just says what we're all thinking immediately. Of course, Marge is getting all of her information from his ex. You even said that 3 years ago. Here's 6 clips of her saying that.
There's the montage.
And what are you doing? You're also digging up dirt. You guys are doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
I agree. And the funniest part is Danielle is the one that lays it out. It's like, well, let's break this down. Before that happens, by the way, Jen Aiden's like, well, she didn't like when I talked to Laura for months, so I stopped because it wasn't nice. After months, when she became no longer
after getting
useful,
all of the information out of her.
then I stopped talking to her. So Danielle points out, you guys both did the same thing. This is the most pot calling the kettle black moment ever. And this is, again, where I'm going to point at the fan base and go, you just watched this scene transpire. You just watched Teresa, quote unquote, out Marge for doing all this shit. We know that Jen Aiden and Teresa were doing the exact same thing. I'm not saying one is better or worse than the other. I'm saying they are exactly the same thing. They are literally the same. So how the fuck, either way, would you defend either of these parties and saying that they were in the right and the other was in the wrong? And I'm only saying this because I've already seen posts that are trying to burn Marge to the ground for doing this. And I'm like, guys, it's on TV. It's right there. There's no dog in this fight. They're both doing the same shit.
Yep.
And you are also part of the problem and why this show sucks so much. So nothing else really happens except for this amazing moment. The only shining light in this whole season is there's a knock on the door or a ring on the ring cam, and there's this big wreath presented, and it looks like a funeral arrangement. And Marge sent a funeral arrangement and said, sorry for the loss of your dignity. Love, 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 Marge. That was a great move.
That's funny.
But that's too little too late.
Yeah.
It will not save this show or this season. Great moment, great move. That is hopefully what this season is remembered for, other than that this season is when it all ended. That funeral arrangement, honestly, that was a metaphor for this show.
There you go.
This show
How long
is
have you been holding on to
dead.
that one for?
That literally just came to me, and it
Oh,
felt really
nice.
good. That wreath, sorry for your loss, RHONJ, you're gone.
Yeah. I mean, it was even really sad, too, when Danielle goes to her confessional and she's so excited about this. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a cool
It's
moment.
a cool moment. It's great. But, like, your excitement level too high.
It's too high
You
for
need
us.
I know you're still trying to do your job over there.
Appreciate it.
We don't care.
At that moment, it's like, here we go. And then I think next week or the following is we have one
Next
or two
week
left.
next week is the finale, and then the week after that we get the
Them watching
reunion.
it. Wait a minute. If
we get to watch the finale.
That. What do you mean? If they were
think.
going to do
Now-
it that way, they should have us watch the finale with them in like a little box in the corner reacting to it.
That is a good one, or it should be like a 30-minute finale. Just the scene of whatever the hell they're doing and whatever
Then them?
happens with Teresa and Melissa yelling at each other at the end. And then for 15 minutes, we get to see some of the reaction shots.
Okay.
Do not waste our time with the second episode. I know they're going to, but
Oh
don't
no,
do it.
if there's 2 episodes, I'm going to cry.
Yeah. Cry?
Yes, weep. Sob.
Maybe. Hear me out. We'll cover next week. If there's a second episode, instead of covering that, we cry
Okay. On air.
for 40 minutes.
Yep.
Yep.
Just weeping.
You guys just get to hear us cry.
Yep, that's what we're going to do.
We're good at it too.
But look, it's all just an omen. It's just an omen.
I know what you're doing.
It's just an omen.
I know. It's just
Dude. Oh,
so many damn questions.
Of course there is. Let's answer them all.
From Sarah Shears, do you think production tried to save them, or are they just watching them crash and burn? We kind of talked about it a little bit. I think they were like
They're throwing shit at the wall and hoping
trying to
something
find
sticks.
something. Yeah. And from Sarah Pilardi, am I missing something? This quote unquote bomb from Tree wasn't much of anything. You're not missing anything.
No, you're right on the
It was
nose.
nothing.
Yeah, you're good. If you thought it was a bomb, something was wrong with you. So no, you're good.
From Rachel Nicholas, would adding Frank's girlfriend, fiance, Brittany,
No.
make the show more interesting? No, it wouldn't, because she would just fall in line somewhere.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
what
the
we've
same
seen.
shit.
If you haven't seen the theme of this show, it's newbie comes on, newbie picks team, newbie switches side, newbie goes back to original side,
Yep.
chaos ensues.
From Shauna Draper, 27, I'd love to hear your power rankings on this group. Are they all tied for last?
Yeah.
I'm not even going to do a power rankings.
No, there's no
There is
reason
none.
to.
There's no power.
There's nothing.
It's not even a ranking. There's nothing.
We've been
Shit list, maybe.
it's the snap. We've been Thanos snapped.
Yep.
Everyone's gone.
From Billy Big Deals, does
Love that
Teresa?
name.
Yeah, it's a great name.
Wait, what does he do? Is he a car salesman or something? Can you click on his profile real quick for me? I really hope
Sorry, Billy. We're really going to dig into your.
Really, I need you to be a salesman of some sort.
I hope so, Billy. No, I think his last name is Deal.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that too.
Bo Deal. Sorry, Billy.
Billy Bo Deedle.
Does Teresa think this redeems Louie and the exes wouldn't have done this without Marge's influence?
I don't know.
The exes were going to do this regardless of Marge. I think Marge was just trying to get information
Marge
from
was-
them to use against Teresa. Let's be honest. That's what she always was doing.
Marge was digging for some kind of shit to throw at Teresa. And yes, Teresa thought that this would vindicate her and Louie and she did think this would land so hard that everybody would be anti-Marge, and it did not at all.
Yeah. From Christine D. Philippus, would you hire Tree's attorney? Yes. To terrorize somebody that I hate.
Yeah, no, I mean, I called it with the fitted hat last week and tried to be nice about it. After this disaster, absolutely not. I'm shocked that this man's an attorney.
All right, we'll do one more here. From Mrs. Naj Angel. Probably getting that wrong. Do you think Margaret has something on Dolores and Paulie?
I think it's more hearsay,
Yeah.
maybe, but again, that's probably something to do with Paulie's ex, as it always
I don't
is.
think that Marge is actively digging to the point of talking to somebody in Paulie's life or Paulie's ex. She's probably reading like posts and random
Yeah,
things
maybe,
about
like,
it just to
Reddit
see if she can
threads.
get anything. But I think that she saves all that energy to actively talk to people for Teresa.
Yeah, I think so too, but I also, it doesn't matter anymore.
I don't know. Yeah, does it?
It just simply doesn't matter. The show's gone. The show's getting rebooted.
Hi, Jersey.
It's sad. It sucks. Like, fuck this. What a downfall. They could
God, what are all the
study this.
people on Twitter going to fight about?
They're gonna probably start yelling at each other again, as they always do. I
Yeah.
don't know. Who knows? It's
We'll
so
have
crazy.
to keep an eye out for our favorite toxic Twitter people
Oh yeah,
to see who they back in the new cast.
that'll be interesting.
And then we'll have to
actually.
try to do some analytics on why they
Oh,
go
as
from
to, like,
Teresa to this new person or Marge to this
Are
new
they
person. Yeah.
reminiscent of? Are they
Yeah.
showing similar signs of
Yeah.
their predecessors? Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Or maybe this unifies them.
That would be. Oh, wouldn't that
God,
be
wasn't
great?
it so much more fun when we used to just yell crazy shit at each other on Twitter and threaten each other's families?
No,
No, it
No.
wasn't.
Wouldn't
But
it be-
maybe it'll unify them and they'll be like, yeah, wasn't that great? That was a good time.
wouldn't it be funny if like you could have a differing opinion and then either have a conversation about it or just agree to disagree rather than tell somebody that their entire lineage is idiots and they deserve to die? Because that seems like a crazy
That's- yeah.
response to me. But hey, what do we know?
What do we know?
Apparently, it helped the show out a lot. Anyway, hopefully we didn't bum you out too much. This was very therapeutic for me. I don't know about you, but it did
Yeah.
feel good to just fumble through this one a little bit. But look, we will continue to watch. We will continue to break down each episode. We will continue to call out what we don't like, as we always do. I will tell you this right now. If they reboot this show, we will be all in on board for the reboot.
Tell them.
I'm telling them because that's
Tell
how we
'em.
were with Roni, and I thought Roni was solid. They obviously have some things to work on, but they got a second season, so we're excited for that. I'm excited for a reboot. Let's see what they can do with this show. And in the meantime, if you're looking for quality housewife shows and you're not watching Miami, I don't know what you're doing. If you're not watching OC this season, do yourself a favor there. We have a lot of shows to look forward to coming up. The non-housewife shows have taken over Bravo. They're much better right now. We got a lot of those lined up for the near future, I believe. Like the Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality's got to be soon.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Is there a third one?
Summer House.
Summer House. And then Salt Lake's got to be coming up soon. Like we got
Salt Lake started filming like immediately after.
Yeah, they're very quick.
So
to
they
film.
should be coming back soon.
So
The
we
new
got the-
Roni will come back soon.
Yeah.
Well, we've got enough on the horizon coming, I imagine, after the Olympics.
Yeah, they're definitely waiting till
Yeah.
then for sure. But the sun's on the horizon, everybody. Hang in there. It's been a very strange time for Bravo TV. But as always, we will ride through the gates of hell with you to get back to the glory days.
Yep.
Brav Bros are out of here.
Later.
Bye.